All over the world, species clash in nature's savage battle of survival. On the open plains, on coral reefs, and even on suburban streets, all are locked in deadly conflict. Animals fight tooth and claw to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. From the jungles of Asia to the beaches of Antarctica, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Night. The African plains are a playground for predators. But for herbivores, danger doesn't just come from meat eaters. The enemy can be much closer to home. There's a new kid in a herd of Burchell zebra. Mom looks away, and a stallion gives chase. The new boss of the herd is on a mission to murder. It's not common, but new stallions do kill offspring that don't share their bloodline. At the waterhole, the stallion uses his weight ruthlessly. The foal is in deep trouble. Mom has an agonizing decision. To protect her child, she must put herself in danger. A loosened grip gives the foal wriggle room. Now Mom makes up her mind. His incisors usually crop grass, but they can also pierce flesh. A chance to escape, but those incisors are back. A stumble buys the foal seconds, and Mom races to the rescue. If the foal dies, the stallion will have more chance of getting Mom pregnant. Mom tries to throw the stallion off balance. But the bully answers back. A brutal kick. Only stalls her for a moment. Mom and child win. But they can't rest easy. The foal won't leave Mom until it's 2 to 3 years old. That's a long time to be looking over your shoulder. Even predators have to watch their backs. When they lose a kill, they've wasted energy for nothing. So winners live and losers die. The Badlands of Botswana. These may look like playful pups, but African wild dogs are one of the most successful predators in the world. They'll travel over 30 miles looking for food and kill more than 4 times out of 5. Spotted hyenas know this. They stalk dog packs and steal their food. The dogs kill an impala. But they must chow down fast before the hyenas show up. The hyena bandits are over double the dog's weight. But these rivals are closely matched for murder. The wild dog's vice-like jaws are lined with 42 teeth, developed for a hyper-carnivorous diet. Their lower carnassials are topped with a blade-like cusp to shear meat and eat quickly. Thanks to wide zygomatic arches, which attach to well-developed facial muscles, he has one of the strongest bites for his size on the African plains. Despite appearances, the hyena is more closely related to a cat. Like big cats, her sharp carnassials kill and rip through flesh. But she also has hammer-like premolars. These are used to crush large bones. She'll devour an entire carcass, and her bite can grind the bones of an elephant into pieces. They're as different as cats and dogs. And these dogs have lost their kill. They've wasted energy on the failed hunt and need to eat. They target a herd of red lechwe. These can weigh over 200 pounds. A bigger prize if you can bring one down. The dogs single out a ram and corner him. The ram's elongated hooves and water-repellent fur mean a muddy pool is no problem for him. The dog's short legs slow them down in water. While the ram stays, he's got the edge. The hyena bandits are back. The starving dogs face going hungry yet again. With strong bone inside the ram's huge horns, one well-placed stab would kill. A bandit is gored. It's a three-way standoff. There'll be 2 losers. The ram searches for an escape path. With little room to run, he takes the battle to the bandits. It's a fatal mistake. Once more, the bandits take the prize. Once more, the dogs need to hunt again to survive. On the African savanna, the lion is top predator. But every youngster needs to earn that title. Males leave their pride at around 2.5 years. They wander alone or team up with other related outcasts. Most kills are made by lionesses. So young males learn to hunt for themselves. Only 1 in 15 make it to their 4th birthday. 2 rookies plan to beat those odds. This young buffalo is a 1.5 million calorie target. And he's wandered from his herd. Buffalo can spot a lion from more than half a mile away. But not when his back is turned. The older rookie pounces and loses the element of surprise. Get on the end of those horns, and it's game over. Junior takes his eyes off the rookies for a second. It's a costly error that earns him more than 800 pounds of lion body slam. Their target is Junior's neck. Lions are armed with 4 canines around 3 inches in length. These fit almost perfectly between the cervical vertebrae of their prey to sever the spinal cord. But they have to penetrate hide, which is almost 2 inches thick. No easy task when Junior is on his back. At 2 to 1, he's done for. But the odds are about to change. Two lions can take down a young buffalo. But not an entire herd. The rookies have miscalculated badly. They'll have to contend with nearly 10 tons of angry buffalo. The youngest lion wises up. But his older teammate still tries for the killer bite. A bull thinks he needs more persuasion. For the famished lion, hunger trumps sense. But they have no chance against 20 horns. Outnumbered, our starving rookies are beaten. Will they learn the smart moves fast enough to beat the odds on survival? When an animal has a hair trigger, it doesn't take much for things to get dangerously out of hand. Hippo battles kick off quicker during the dry season, when water holes are crowded. It's like sharing a bath with a losing football team. And if you're a young jock, it's best to keep your head down. Coach settles in at one end of the pod. He keeps a no-nonsense eye on the group. Dominant males will attack young challengers. But over at the other end of the line, one cocky guy didn't get the message. He barges his neighbor and sets off a shockwave. It's a domino effect, where every tile is nearly 3 tons of cranky hippo. That's bad news for the hippo closest to Coach. He knows the big fella will lash out at whoever is nearest, and decides offense is the best defense. Get between a hippo's canines, and you'll feel nearly half a ton of bite force. Enough to crush a croc's head. They have the biggest mouth of any land mammal. Forward-pointing tusks can stab right through thick protective skin. The scapegoat's offense isn't working. If he's going down, he's going down fighting. But not for long. Coach shows who's boss, and calm returns to the waterhole. There'll only be one alpha male in this hippopod, and the scapegoat keeps a low profile. Group animals may jostle for dominance, but for loners, it's one in, one out. Winner takes all. This 6-year-old male leopard is about to gamble with his life. He stalks a rival nearly double his age. For 3 days, the youngin's been watching and waiting. Leopards will measure up their opponents before risking a fight. This nomad wants food and females that come with the veteran's territory. He thinks the old-timer is past his prime. The darker fur around the veteran's neck shows his maturity. When 2 alpha predators face off, there will be blood. When territory is at stake, leopards can fight to the death. A leopard's domain can cover over 13 square miles. It's a big prize. The veteran takes the dominant position. But the nomad isn't ready to give up. A bite to the throat could mean death for the nomad. He needs his last reserve of strength. A desperate burst of power. The tables turn. But not for long. Serious injury means both could lose their ability to hunt. That's a death sentence. The nomad is defiant. But the veteran keeps his territory. His younger rival must accept a nomadic life, or fight again for a new territory. In the southern hemisphere, a unique animal has developed a violent reproductive strategy. When Europeans first settled in the southern Australian island of Tasmania, they told of terrifying nocturnal screams in the forests. The cause? Not supernatural. But the Tasmanian devil, a marsupial the size of a small dog. For these cantankerous creatures, every day is a battle. Devils only weigh up to 26 pounds. But strong muscles and teeth in oversized heads mean they can bite through bone. This female is in heat. Males only get their chance for up to 10 days once a year. Courtship is hellish. She needs her partner to be dominant, so her offspring will inherit strong genes. He bites deep into her neck, but evolution has prepared her for his savagery. During the breeding season, a fatty deposit builds in the back of her neck, protecting it from his bite. A rise in reproductive hormones also makes her more passive. But after mating, the deposit will go. Reproductive hormone levels will temporarily fall, and tempers will rise. His teeth drag her back to her diabolically dark den. The alpha devil subdues her. Now, he mates with her. It could be a week before she becomes pregnant, so she could still mate with a rival. But he's on to her. Turning jailer, he blocks the exit to her den. Now he's in charge. Days later, her sex hormones begin to fade. Her focus turns to evicting her captor. And this devil is ready to unleash hell. When Tasmanian devils mate, there's as much fighting as loving. Her jailer launches a fiendish attack on her face. Pound for pound, a devil's bite is even more powerful than a tiger. The jailer has her on the ground. She pushes back. And suffers for it. But she breaks free. The male loses this battle, but wins the war. She's pregnant. And now, she won't mate with another male. This savage coupling has created new life, but it may also have taken it. Devil facial tumor disease is a contagious cancer that affects only devils. It's spread by biting to the face and has led to population declines of close to 80%. Tragically, the devil's brutal reproductive strategy may lead to its eventual extinction. Throughout nature's battleground, ruthless predators seek out the young and the weak. Gentoo penguins face fearsome foes. Sea lions, killer whales, and leopard seals all devour them. Thanks to flippers evolved from the wings of ancestors, gentoos can flee at 22 miles an hour. Nearly 4 times faster than Michael Phelps. To breed, they pair up and build colonies on Antarctic shorelines like the H.O. Islands. Out of the water, they're largely safe. Unless this guy's around. The southern giant petrel. Its hooked bill is a dagger. They're mainly scavengers, and like a penguin snack. Adult penguins are too heavy to capture. But chicks are a treat. For these thugs, breeding season is a brutal buffet. Moms and dads must be on their guard. It's a busy day at Gentoo Swim School. One student chick gets his first taste of the Antarctic chill. He needs a few more laps before he's a pro like his parents. Suddenly, there's penguin panic. A male giant petrel zeroes in. The base of a penguin's skull has less fat and muscle to protect it. Puncture a vein there, and it's all over. The chick is overmatched by the petrel. And it gets worse. Another thug. The kid's all alone in the deep end. Until a hero thinks he can help. Petrel thugs picked the wrong chick to prey on. These little swimmers look after their own. Here's Dad. He puts himself in grave danger. A thug loses his grip, letting the chick run for his life. Dad lashes the attacker and gives a brutal flipper slap to his abdomen. Gen 2 flippers form a tough blade of solid bone. They're useless for flight, but handy in a fight. The thugs stage a tactical retreat. The chick makes it up to the beach to safety. He'll live to swim another day, thanks to Dad's bravery. Small animals can have big attitude, especially when they're experts in chemical warfare. In Southeast Asia, two rival ant kingdoms live in constant battle. Giant forest ants build their nests on the woodland floor. Weaver ants build nests out of leaves, high above them. Forest ants are an insect Goliath. They're nearly 1¼ inches long. Razor-sharp jaws can sever smaller insects with one swift bite. And they're also armed with acid. A worker weaver ant is close to 1/5 of the size of its Goliath relative. Colonies can house over 500,000 residents. Weaver ants will attack any intruder in their territory. These two ants normally live apart, but when their worlds collide, it's war. This lone ant Goliath is on a solo foraging expedition. A tiny weaver ant clings to its antenna. The weaver's strong jaws make it hard to dislodge. This tough little critter can carry up to 100 times its weight. But one bite from Goliath will slice it in two. It's time for Weaver 911. The weaver ant has left an odor trail running from its nest. The odor is released from a rectal gland, dragged behind the abdomen on 2 bristles. Backup can follow the trail right to the weaver. The cavalry's on its way. Weavers take out the forest ant's joints. But it's not over. Goliath's mandibles slice through an attacker. But now, the Weavers play their deadly ace. The Weaver's large triangular mandibles are serrated and can inflict a severe bite. A poison gland in their abdomen then sprays formic acid into the wound, which acts to weaken the damaged exoskeleton and can disable the victim. Goliath is a solo forager and has no help in sight. Its head drips with formic acid. The Weavers overwhelm their target and take it to be eaten. Proving size is no match for hordes of chemical killers. Danger can come from every angle, so animals seek shelter wherever they can and fight dirty to keep it. A female day octopus forages for food. Crustaceans and fish are on the menu, but so is she. Plenty of ocean predators are partial to calamari. Even cannibalism isn't out of bounds. Mating sometimes leads to guys becoming an after-sex snack. Surrounded by danger, the octopus is a master of disguise. Specialized pigment organs in their skin allow them to change color and texture and disappear into their surroundings. But hiding in plain sight isn't always enough. And octopuses spend more than 3/4 of their time sheltering. This apartment is perfect. But she senses a threat. She tries to blend in with her background. But that's no good against a cannibal killer. This female octopus senses danger. Another octopus wants to move in. She's a bruiser, missing an arm, possibly from previous battles. She has a big reach and a deadly weapon. Inside their body sac are poison glands. These deliver toxic proteins to the only hard part of the creature, its parrot-like beak made of chitin. A bite can paralyze the nervous system of their prey. The squatter settles in, leaving the owner out in the open. But she doesn't go far. The squatter's on alert. A camouflage technique called a passing cloud produces movement and startles predators. Scare tactics don't work on the tenant. Each arm has a separate brain-like structure at its base, so they can move independently from the brain. which helps octopuses fight. The tenant retreats, but drags the squatter with her as well. It's round 2. Octopuses are about 90% muscle and can pull 10 times their weight. To help them move blood around this muscular body and to their gills, octopuses have 3 hearts. The homeowner heaves the attacker out and evicts her. The battle-scarred bruiser must take her chances in the open ocean. The rightful resident gets her apartment back. For some species, the rules of mating mean there are literally no boundaries. Every fall, moose get it on. A bull moose is over 1,300 pounds of concentrated lust. He can hear a cow's mating cry a mile away, and he'll follow it wherever it goes, even down to the suburbs. In Anchorage, Alaska, a female takes a trip to an uptown neighborhood. 2 evenly matched bulls are duking it out to impress her. Two and a half thousand pounds of muscle go head to head. The hooves of these rutting Romeos are designed to grip in mud, not on a driveway. During the rut, bulls' neck muscles expand to twice their normal size. Their forehead skin is thickened to provide armor against antlers. So both must keep the fight front on. The downed Romeo counterattacks, while his rival struggles with a laundry line. Moose antlers regrow larger every year. They're 6 times harder to break than human bone. And the antlers of a mature bull protect his eyes in combat. But Romeo can't hold his gains. He begins to lose ground to the laundry line lover. It's like fighting on an ice rink. Turned sideways, Romeo loses forward momentum. There's only room for one lover boy in this town. And his rival hits the road alone. All over the world, species clash in nature's savage battle of survival. On the open plains, in the oceans, and under desert skies. All are locked in deadly conflict. Animals fight tooth and claw to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. From the uplands of America to the wilds of Africa, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Night. Hippos spend 3/4 of their lives in water. They can even sleep underwater. A A unique reflex brings them up to breathe without waking up. So if a hippo's getting out of his bath, it's going to be for something deadly serious. It's the dry season. Hippos from different pods cram into one evaporating stretch of river. Pods can live side by side, as long as no one upsets the hierarchy. But one gatecrasher has his sights on the other pod's females. And for their boss, that's grounds for a fight. He forces the 3-ton upstart back into the crowd. But one giant surge turns the tables. The boss makes for the shore. But he's not retreating. This fight is now at DEFCON 1. The gatecrasher keeps coming. The boss makes the most of new terrain. More traction means more pushing power. In hippo law, the biggest jaw wins. And the boss's gape has the edge. The gatecrasher drops his head in defeat. He's learned the hard way. Get the boss out of his bath, and you face 3 tons of trouble. Young lions learn to hunt on the job. But if they don't keep up with the kill crew, they can be killed. Mpumalanga, South Africa. The Marthley Pride tackles its toughest prey, a Cape buffalo. The experienced matriarch holds down the back end. 2-year-old little bro takes the sharp end. But it goes horribly wrong. Lions are not natural-born killers. Lionesses teach youngsters to hunt by just 15 months old. They become expert killers by 2.5. But over 3/4 of them won't even reach this age. A quarter of the buffalo's horn skewers the rookie's armpit. Around 1 foot deep. One big swing of the head could prove fatal. The horn spears through tough lion hide and penetrates the bicep, an injury that could lead to fatal infection. Worse still, his own body weight, 240 pounds, pulls him down onto the horn. If it severs an artery, he will bleed to death. But it can take hours for a lion team to kill a buffalo. And first, they must haul down almost 2,000 pounds of adrenaline-fueled beast. The horn digs closer towards the artery. But the rookie sticks to his job and sinks 2.5-inch canines into the buffalo's neck. The buffalo thrashes desperately. And lets the youngster off the hook. He's in pain, but his work is done. The buffalo's exhausted. And now the matriarch can finish him off. The rookie's wounded, but it's not fatal. And his weight helped drag down the buffalo. So it wasn't plan A, but the team secures over 1,800 pounds of beef to feed the pride. Predators are designed by their environment. Venture into their domain, and it's get out fast, or fast become lunch. Each year, tiger sharks migrate to the North Pacific. They come for one reason. Albatross fledglings. Adult albatross are 70-mile-an-hour flying machines. But they don't start out like this. On a Hawaiian beach, 6-month-old fledglings prepare to fly the nest. Launching into the wind gives them lift. But it doesn't always work. And waiting at the end of their runway is one of the ocean's most capable killers. She's a 13-foot killing machine. Rows of serrated teeth effortlessly saw through hard turtle shell. A favorite snack. So tiny fledglings are easy pickings. Tiger sharks have a blind spot right in front of their nose. But they have an ingenious solution. Tiger sharks have electroreceptors on their heads called ampullae of Lorenzini. Skin pores filled with a jelly-like substance embedded in the skin connect to receptor cells. They can detect weak electrical signals created by nearby animals as they move, allowing this albatross-seeking missile to zero in on its prey. Albatross lay just 1 egg a year. So this little guy is precious. But learning to fly with a 7-foot wingspan is a big ask. A tiger shark senses a splash and moves in on her target. The tiny chick can't see her. But never underestimate an underdog. This albatross chick's stranded in tiger shark territory. It needs stronger winds to get airborne. It should be game over. But the shark's own bow wave pushes her prey to safety. The chick wants to fly, but can't quite make it. This chick's no easy target. He's gonna fight back. He unleashes his only weapon. A shark's eye is a rare weak spot. But she has a killer defense. As she opens her jaw to bite, a specialized muscle slides a third eyelid across the eye. Known as a nictitating membrane, it forms an effective protective shield, but renders the shark temporarily blind as it attacks. And that split second is time enough to escape. This albatross is off the menu, for now. But for the shark, there's plenty more birds in the sea. In the wild, there's no fast track to success. Climb the ladder, and it's a rumble on every rung. Bighorn rams may be sheep, but they can fight for 24 hours straight. They stage brutal playoffs for mating rights, where only the winner secures their bloodline. The losers, they just spill blood. It's rutting season in Canada's Rocky Mountains. In these parts, over 100 rams compete. It's tough enough if you're part of the gang. But this Casanova is a stranger. He wants to take on the dominant male. But first, he must beat his lieutenants. All 3 of them. Even against 3, Casanova holds his ground. Double-layered skulls protect their brains from being crushed. A lieutenant gears up for a ferocious assault. and delivers a 40-mile-an-hour strike. Inches from blinding Casanova's right eye. Their reinforced skulls are built to withstand front impact. But a hard enough side smash can kill them. Bloodied, Casanova fights back. Unable to match his stamina, the lieutenants give up. Casanova's exhausted. But one ram still stands in his way, and he is the toughest of them all. Bighorn rams can endure more than 5 clashes an hour. And after conquering 3 subordinates, this outsider now faces the dominant male. His seasoned opponent takes the high ground. This builds more battering momentum and greater impact force. It's like being hit by a baseball bat at 80 miles an hour. Casanova faces an uphill battle, but goes full power. The force cracks his opponent's horn. But as a weapon, it's no less deadly. After a brutal 2-tiered tournament, one last blow from the big guy is too much for Casanova. He doesn't win the right to mate, but incredibly wins a place in the gang. When the prey is deadly, even the fastest predators need a backup plan. All-you-can-eat buffets don't come much bigger than the annual wildebeest migration, as over 1 million of them trek almost 2,000 miles. There's more protein on the move here than anywhere else on land. Just one wildebeest kill is a 500,000-calorie feast for this male cheetah. But it's risky, because cheetahs are fragile. They're lightweight for speed. A cheetah's oversized heart and lungs race oxygen around its body, so it can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles an hour in under 3 seconds. But cheetahs are short-distance runners. So this cat targets the runt, the quickest kill. But those 30-inch horns can still pierce his gut. One cheetah has long odds against prey this size. But he's not alone. Little brother joins the attack. The ambush trap is set. But the odds change again. 600 pounds of wildebeest can crush a light-boned cat. It splits the gang. But they round again on the first target. The ambush strategy works. Even the run yields around 500 pounds of protein-rich meat. Enough to keep 2 cheetahs alive until the next hunt. They call this the animal kingdom. But the kings don't always rule the roost. In the jungles of Madagascar lurks a mysterious creature that can kill with its farts alone and turn people into zombies with its poisonous lick before disemboweling them. Or so says local legend. The creature is the Fusa, and the reality is just as strange. It has retractable claws like a cat, a monkey-like tail as long as its body, and hind legs that can rotate 180 degrees around the ankles to climb down trees head first. Fusas are rare, but no one told the females. She's extremely hard to please, and she'll fight any males she doesn't like. She only mates once a year, and often in the same carefully chosen tree. A hot-blooded male is desperate to mate. He's got one shot. And if he doesn't cut it, she'll attack with unbelievable violence. Madagascar's Fusa females only mate with the most competitive males. So this suitor better have the right stuff. He's bold, but she's still not impressed. Females use weaker branches to lure rejects into dangerous territory. But retractable claws swing him away from trouble. He gets the message. Quitters are not her type. At least those swiveling ankles give him a fast getaway. But there's another suitor on the scene. And it seems he's got the right moves. No animal can truly be tamed. But even the wildest beasts have their rules. High noon in Mustang Alley. An outlaw wants the sheriff's mare. And he'll shoot to kill. Over 70,000 Mustangs maraud across America's Wild West. Settlers brought them here 500 years ago. But now they run feral in small bands. When a mare gives birth to a foal, she'll be ready to mate again almost immediately. And this outsider is desperate to start his own bloodline. But every band has a dominant male who keeps the law. And he sees the outlaw muscle in. The outsider draws first. They rear in a show of aggression. But these are mere pistols. The most devastating weapon is at the back. When a horse gallops, its forelegs work more like props, while the more powerful muscles of the hind legs provide most of the propulsion. And they can kick as hard as they can run. But with a foal in the firing line, the sheriff can't draw the big guns yet. The foal is ushered to safety. The sheriff aims with both barrels. It's a misfire. But 1,200 pounds of Mustang sends the outlaw reeling. A darker horse, the sheriff's deputy, comes guns a-blazing. But the outlaw turns on him. Subordinate males will defend their superiors. And come hell or high water, this deputy has the sheriff's back. The outlaw returns alone to his own band. Outgunned and outmuscled. Good things come in small packages, but so do bad things. The Sonoran Desert, Arizona, where temperatures can soar to almost 120 degrees. By day, it's an empty wasteland. But when the sun goes down, it has a killer nightlife. A grasshopper mouse is out late, hungry for a midnight snack. At less than a pound, he's a lightweight in a neighborhood of deadly heavyweights. This is the giant desert hairy scorpion, an armed assassin. His sting injects toxic venom that destroys his victim's nervous system and paralyzes them. Once bathed in enzymes, the prey is pulverized into a scorpion smoothie. The assassin spies a tasty treat. Grasshopper mouse. But this little fellow is one surprisingly tough hombre. A giant desert hairy scorpion spies a mousy meal. But the mouse won't take it. The scorpion unleashes a toxic jab. Dead between the ears. It should spell lights out. Inside the bulb of the tail are two venom glands filled with a cocktail of neurotoxins. By contracting muscles inside the tail, the scorpion squeezes the venom through a hole in the stinger, which targets the nervous system. It would paralyze any normal prey. But this mouse has a secret defense. Thick fur and skin that the stinger can't penetrate. So Mighty Mouse is still in the game. In this town, the grasshopper mouse is the predator. Razor-sharp teeth make quick work of the scorpion's exoskeleton. The grasshopper mouse is merciless. And if they can't find prey, they'll even eat each other. Even in the quietest corners of the natural world, where survival depends on togetherness, carnal instincts can turn peace into war. Welcome to Hell. Hell Valley, on the Japanese island of Honshu. In winter, temperatures plummet to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, while volcanic waters surge up through the frozen ground to form warm pools. For snow monkeys, it's heaven. Japanese macaques beat the cold by soaking in nature's own hot tubs. Under the watchful eye of this dominant male, the Zen master, peace and harmony reign. But long after the snow thaws, when mating season begins, heaven turns to hell again. Rogue males arrive, desperate to mate. This wild-eyed stranger has only one thing on his mind: a nursing mom. While a mother's nursing, she won't mate. So the outsider turns on the infant. But Mom will defend it with her life. The little one escapes. Mom's older daughter tries to help, but can only watch her fall. The big male sinks in his dagger-like canines. He pins her. There's no escape. When a snow monkey mom is held down by a heavier male, there's little she can do. But the Zen master troop leader sees all. And as the intruder tries to flee, he turns Kung Fu Monkey. The master's bigger, and so are his daggers. The intruder must choose between ferocious fangs and the river rapids. No contest. The intruder quits the valley. The Zen master returns peace to the mountain, and hell turns back to heaven. For nature's hunters, the shift in seasons can be a deadly game changer. The river otter is an expert predator in the underwater world. But when lakes and rivers freeze over, otters must leave the water to hunt prey. In the open, they're vulnerable to their predators. Eye lenses adapted for underwater hunting make them short-sighted on land, so it's harder to spot enemies. Like the coyote. Cunning opportunists, these killers like to target rodents and beavers. But when food is scarce, they form bigger packs to catch larger prey. They rely on highly developed hearing and smell. And this coyote has picked up a trail. A mom and daughter. Otters make dens underground, but this pair is out on the hunt. Coyotes can run at up to 40 miles an hour. The front runner homes in on the youngster. Mom races in to distract the hunters. And it works. She can't match their speed, but she can outmaneuver them. An otter's skeleton is designed for agility. It has an elongated torso with 6 articulated sections and no clavicle bones at the shoulders. The otter can undulate its body to propel itself fast through the water. Those skills work on land, too. When the youngster flees, Mom's on her own. But she's smarter than they think. They try to surround her. And sink bite after bite. But she saves her best trick for last. Disappearing. She leaves a bloody trail. But that's all the coyotes get from the wily otter. For some species, the wildest battles aren't always in the wild. The tranquil suburbs of Southern California offer prime real estate for a western fence lizard. Meet the lord of the manor. This crack in a wall is his home and shelter, so he'll protect it to the death. A stranger strays onto his manor. His battle-scarred tail spells trouble. He's a serial offender. He's lost part of his tail in a previous battle. Every vertebra running through the tail has a special fracture point. If an enemy grabs the tail, the lizard constricts muscles that will detach the tail at any of these weak points, so it can escape further harm. The tail will eventually grow back, but only as an inflexible piece of cartilage. Despite the intruder's inferior tail, he's still bent on a break-in. There are two ways this can go. To deter enemies and avoid a costly fight, fence lizards start with a display. A set of push-ups. The intruder won't back down. With everything to lose, the lord of the manor goes nuclear. A lizard's tail is vital for balance, so the intruder's less flexible tail disadvantages him. The intruder makes for the mansion door and targets his opponent's tail. But the homeowner's healthy tail strikes back. The homeowner won't quit his manor and bites another chunk off the intruder's tail. This house is not for sale, and the homeless intruder pays the price for trespassing. All over the world, species clash in nature's savage battle of survival. On the open plains, in mountain forests, and city streets, all are locked in deadly conflict. Animals fight tooth and claw to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. From the Mediterranean shores to the Canadian wilderness, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Night. In the battle of the sexes, males can be stronger. But when it comes to the bloodline, females hold the power. In the high forests of Rwanda, mountain gorillas walk a fine line between peace and war. With plenty of food, fights usually erupt over females. And this local troop has a battle brewing. Males from a neighboring band are after their females. But the dominant male, the silverback, gives a warning. The group flees, and and a dangerous battle is avoided. Gorillas choose their fights carefully. Because when these powerhouses duke it out, the damage can be devastating. Gorillas eat roots, fruits, and tree bark. But their colossal power and bulk is thanks to an incredible super-powered gut. Gorillas can consume over 10% of their body weight in vegetation a day. Their enlarged colons are far more efficient than ours at processing plant fiber to produce power-building energy. While we can't digest plant cellulose at all, a gorilla's colon contains a bacteria that breaks it down, converting it into energy. With so much raw power, diplomacy is critical. But another battle over mating threatens to erupt. Females sometimes transfer between groups, a behavior that guards against interbreeding. An outsider mother and her 3-year-old arrive from another troop. A male's harem is limited to 3 adult females. So to the ladies, this newcomer is a threat. A dominant female takes the lead. Urinating is an involuntary fight-or-flight response. A clear sign that the dominant female is serious. The newcomer can't back down. She must earn her place. Behind the females, a male's pig grunts mean he's angry. A firm hand splits the pair. But the silverback strong-arms him. He wants the females to settle this themselves. The newcomer asserts herself. The long-timer retreats. But has the last word. The newcomer may not win over her rival, but earns approval from the silverback and secures safety for her and her child, at the cost of just a few bruised egos. When males clash over territory, the outcome is rarely amicable. A pair of waterbuck wages war. This landowner caught a young buck gatecrashing his territory. Time for a hard lesson in waterbuck etiquette. Waterbuck love water. They emit an oily, smelly secretion that waterproofs their shaggy coat. When threatened, they head where few predators will follow. An effective tactic. Unless they're up against another waterbuck. Brutally battered, the buck is on death row. But the landowner stops. Danger is in the air. To a lion, the sound and smell of fighting waterbuck are like a dinner bell. Expert hunters, lions work in small teams to separate a beast from the herd. Today's prey is a sitting duck. The 12-strong pride surrounds him. Fishing waterbuck from ponds doesn't seem to be in the lion's hunting handbook. The waterbuck sees a gap. A lioness strikes. On dry land, she'll haul her prey to ground. But here, she clings on. The lioness moves in for the kill. But the youngster refuses to give in. He plunges the lion's face beneath the water. Unable to breathe, she releases her grip. But the waterbuck makes a fatal mistake. Water is his turf. Land is theirs. When a pack of hungry lions invites you to dinner, it's an offer you can't refuse. While many animals fight for the chance to mate, cuttlefish save some of their fiercest battles for afterwards. Living just 18 months, cuttlefish have only one mating season. So it's time for some fast love. Romeo finds his Juliet. Sophisticated cells let him change his skin to display vibrant zebra stripes. It's how cuttlefish declare their love. The mating begins, face to face. A male takes sperm with his enlarged fourth arm and inserts it into the female. Soon, she'll lay her eggs. And shortly after, the pair will die. Until then, Romeo will guard her. Because a fertile female can quickly gather attention. A handoff tells an intruder that Juliet is taken. This rival could replace Romeo's sperm with his own. Romeo isn't going to let anyone trash his bloodline. He's got a deadly move that could save the day. A rival makes a move on Romeo's Juliet. Cuttlefish have just one short season to extend their bloodline. Romeo makes his skin dark and squirts an inky cloud. Ink is made in the ink gland before it's released into the ink sac. When threatened, a muscular contraction forces it through the funnel. Containing the dark pigment melanin, the ink acts as a smokescreen. The cuttlefish can also mix the ink with mucus to create pseudomorphs, smaller cuttlefish-sized clouds, which act as a perfect predator decoy. The rival's zebra stripes make his intentions loud and clear. But Romeo won't give up on his Juliet. His next defense is jet-propelled. He sucks water through apertures at the side of his head into his mantle cavity. He then contracts the muscles quickly to force the water through the funnel. This pushes him rapidly in the opposite direction. Moving the funnel lets him quickly change his course, so he can outmaneuver enemies. In the panic, the rival grabs Juliet. Cuttlefish arms are lined with suckers, which they use to secure their prey and drag them towards their pointed beaks. This love story is now a horror movie. Juliet breaks free. Patience tested, Romeo explodes. He corkscrews his rival with a triple barrel roll. Dazed and defeated, the rival's hunt for a mate continues elsewhere. Reunited, Romeo and Juliet's struggle is far from over. Laying eggs is their next challenge, and their final one. When a beast loses the final battle, his flesh becomes a feast worth fighting for. A dead hippo is way past its expiration date. Notorious scavengers, hyenas are not fussy eaters. They live in large packs and eat anything and everything. Skin, hair, teeth. Their bone-crunching jaws even let them feast on nourishing marrow. A rotting hippo creates a big stink. A hungry warrior locks on to the scent. Called by some the most fearless animal in the world, honey badgers are 10-inch tall powerhouses. They pack long, sharp claws and a savage bite. These stocky beasts prey on anything, even killer snakes. But when food is scarce, he'll turn scavenger. The honey badger spots the clan. No amount of hippo is worth taking on a pack of hyenas. But it's too late. He's been spotted. And the hyenas think he looks tasty. Outnumbered 7-1, the honey badger's only chance is to fight dirty. A rotting hippo carcass attracts a pack of hyenas. But they'd sooner feast on fresh honey badger. He can't outrun them. But he can fight nasty. Leg cocked, he unleashes his secret weapon. A stomach-churning liquid sprayed from his anal glands. Then, he pulls the dirtiest move in the book. He bites a hyena's genitals. Once bitten, twice shy. No meal is worth the crown jewels. The honey badger makes a break, with the pack on his heels. Things don't look good. But grit pays off. For the honey badger, 3 tons of hippo wasn't worth the fight. But for hyenas, nothing's past its use-by date. When food is scarce, the scavengers will do anything to survive. A clan stumbles on a pair of lionesses enjoying fresh buffalo, much tastier than rotting hippo. Hyenas and lions are both apex predators and mortal enemies. They hunt the same prey, scavenge the same remains, and slaughter each other's young. A fresh kill will see these rivals compete for calories. The hyenas may outnumber the lions 5-2. But caution is key. Other members of the 80-strong clan have come across a lone lioness. And this time, the numbers favor them. If they banish her, there'll be less competition for nearby prey. And if they kill her, she could be dinner. Mobbing with loud cries is a risky scare tactic. The clan has numbers, but the lioness is stronger. The clan gains confidence. Hyenas fight with razor-sharp teeth. But so does she. One bite to a hyena's neck can kill. But the clan target her haunches. Their carnassials shear straight through flesh, staring 12 kinds of death in the face. Flight wins out over fight. As the frustrated hyenas give up, the lioness strikes gold. A leopard's treetop stash. Even a discarded head yields life-giving protein. And she should know. This famed predator scavenges more than the lowly hyena. Some Native Americans believe that seeing the elusive wolverine is a sign of good fortune. But not if you're a rival wolverine. They'll stop at nothing to protect their turf. a wolverine's jagged teeth can slice off their rivals' scalps. Wolverines don't hibernate in the winter. They tough it out, finding food by fair means or foul. The scavenger hits the jackpot. His highly developed sense of smell picks out flesh buried deep in the snow. But a moose carcass out in the open is 1,800 pounds of easy booty. Except there's a thief about. A rival wolverine. A moose is more than enough meat for two. But the Latin name for wolverine is glutton, and neither of these guys wants to share. When wolverines wage war, they go in armed to the teeth. Over generations, wolverines were born with a genetic anomaly. Fewer teeth. This allowed their descendants to develop larger carnassials, which were more efficient at hacking through frozen meat. Wolverine's upper molar teeth are rotated 90 degrees. Hourglass in shape, with well-developed shearing blades, they can crush bones. The thief unleashes a scratch attack. Unlike the X-Man, wolverines can't retract their lethal claws. The thief sinks those flesh-shredding teeth into the scavenger's head. One false move, and the scavenger loses more than his dinner. He could be scalped. Battling over a moose carcass, a wolverine thief locks his teeth on the owner's scalp. But the scavenger twists himself free. The thief counters with another twist. This violent motion can be used to dismember an opponent. The scavenger quits while he still can, with his scalp in one piece. The thief chows down. Food tastes better when you've worked up an appetite. The only thing that bites harder than Yellowstone's winter is the grizzly. Time's running out for this bear. He needs to pile on the pounds for his 5-month hibernation. By foraging or hunting. Grizzlies are one of the largest land-based carnivores. But fighting over a fish is high on effort, low on calories. Our bear finds a bison carcass. Pounds of chow without the fight. To mark his claim, he leaves his bear stink on a nearby tree. Back scratching is a grizzly's keep out sign. A strong scent lets neighboring bears know to steer clear. But this bear wasn't the first one to find the carcass. He was. And he's not happy that someone is eating his bison. The owner attacks. He launches 600 pounds of teeth, claws, and muscle at the thief. The grizzly is one of the most powerful large carnivores. His distinctive shoulder hump is a mass of muscle that helps power his strong front legs when digging for food. In combat, this gives him the fighting strength of up to 5 grown men. Battling grizzlies can kill. The thief gains the higher ground. But the owner fights for what's rightfully his. He uses the bank to power the thief into the freezing waters. The thief rears up in defiance, but the owner takes the victory. He turns his back to let the thief know who's the boss. The thief's free lunch proved too good to be true. With winter settling in, he should be saving energy, not wasting it. Nothing is as fierce as a mother fighting for her young. India's Satpura Hills. Away from her herd's protection, a female Gaur nurses a newborn calf. But the pair is not alone. Wild dogs are nearby, and they're hungry. Gaur are wild cattle Goliaths, bigger than their bison and buffalo cousins. During the mating season, male Gaur lock horns with ferocious power. Nearby, Indian wild dogs, or dhole, get their strength through numbers. These ruthless assassins run in packs and use killer tactics. Against a mother 40 times heavier than them, the wild dogs turn to guerrilla warfare. Having carried him for 9 months, there's no way Mom's going to let her precious child become dog food. Indian wild dogs prey on the weak. They single out a newborn Gaur. The calf dives for his mother's protection, but her eyes are on the bandits. The pack coordinates its attack with whistles and clucks. As soon as the mother fends off one bandit, others swoop from the opposite direction. Dholes stagger their assault to allow rest between attacks. And disembowel their prey while they're still alive. Mom's strength and size are useless against the swarming tormentors. They're just too quick for her advances. The calf goes into shock. He's breathing, but only just. Adding further insult, the bandits torment the distraught mother. The assault rages for over 15 minutes, and the calf's cries stop. Feeding their hunger, many overpowers might. The mother spent just 2 short days with her calf. She'll have others, but today she returns to the herd alone. In the battle for survival, surprise can be the greatest weapon. Fiercely territorial, capercaillie roosters are the original angry birds. When the red mist drops, they attack anything and anyone. The main predators to worry these kamikaze cockerels are red foxes and raptors. This rooster is king of all he surveys. Fantail feathers declare his fertility, along with his harem of hens. But someone wants his crown. The king makes his displeasure known. But his enemy wants a mate, and he's prepared to fight. Neck feathers puff up to intimidate. But kings don't scare easy. Capercaillies pack a deadly peck. Battles can decapitate. Blows from their powerful wings echo around the forest. The warriors know that one slip could be fatal. They mustn't lose focus. But neither sees the next attack coming. Golden eagles dive at 200 miles per hour and strike with ruthless efficiency. These airborne assassins know no bounds, readily sinking their powerful talons into beasts twice their size. A capercaillie makes for an easy meal. The king's enemy has been dealt with, but he doesn't walk away. He confuses the golden eagle for a rival. The predator just wants to enjoy his meal. Fat chance. Oblivious to the eagle's power, the king tests his patience. A capercaillie will do anything to defend its terrain. The king pays the ultimate price. 2 roosters is more than 1 eagle can eat. The king is left to the flies. The urban jungle. Stalking our sewers and subways. The brown rat survives on what others leave behind. But the hunt for food can take you into the wrong neighborhood. Squaring up to a predator 30 times your weight would send most running. But packing a host of combat skills, rats fight like ninjas. They box, wrestle, and pack a powerful bite. Rats' jaw muscles give them a strong bite for their body size. One pair of muscles even loops through the eye sockets, forcing the eyes to bulge as they gnaw. Their 4 incisors are made of soft dentin and hard enamel. The dentin wears faster than the enamel, creating a razor-sharp edge. Rats' teeth never stop growing, so unless he frequently gnaws, they'll spiral round, eventually filling his mouth. A decisive hold takes the victory. An even fight, fairly fought. But rat versus cat? The odds are in the feline's favor. Like their big cat cousins, the kitty cat packs serious combat smarts. Fast and agile, they can leap 5 times their own height. They have sharp, retractable claws, perfect for pinning down prey. And to complete the kill, 30 flesh-shredding teeth, built for eating meat. The warriors square off. Tackling just one of these killers is unthinkable. And this puss has backup. Like their big cat cousins, domestic cats are ruthless killers. So the odds look long for this rat. A flying leap, claws outstretched, sends Lucky running for cover. And Ratty's not stopping at the leader. He takes on the whole gang. Cats stalk prey with stealth. But rats' eyes are at the side of their head for incredible peripheral vision. Lucky backs the rat into a corner. This must be game over. Not for this little squeaker. Outmaneuvered and outclassed, Lucky throws in the towel. His next meal will come out of a can. The rat will fight for his. In the American Southwest, water is life. But finding it is murder. The thermometer here can top 125. And this roadrunner is thirsty. He can get most of his water from the meat of prey. His stubby wings make flying clumsy. But he can run down his victims at almost 20 miles per hour. This fleet-footed hunter spies another speed demon. A rattlesnake. A dead snake is a water-filled feast. But a live one is as quick as a whip. The legendary rattle, made from interlocking segments of keratin, is used to warn off potential predators. And if the warning doesn't work, America's most dangerous snake can strike at over 14 feet per second. But it's what's in the fangs that causes the damage. As his jaws widen, hinged fangs extend forward from the roof of his mouth. Before being plunged deep into his prey, the venom gland above the upper jaw compresses and pushes the deadly liquid along the venom duct through hollow channels in the fangs. The contents of the venom depends on the snake's location. Some use neurotoxins to paralyze their prey. Others use hemotoxins to starve animals' blood cells of oxygen. While some have a lethal cocktail of both. The roadrunners know bird brain. They'll rarely tackle a rattler over 2 feet long. But there's a youngster nearby. Less water, but seemingly less risk. But even a young rattler's venom could kill a roadrunner. So the bird dances with a mini murderer. Like a matador with his cape, the roadrunner uses his wings to divert the rattler's strike. With up to 15,000 muscles, the snake strikes faster than a human can blink. But it's not enough to bag a roadrunner. Sensing defeat, the rattler retreats. The bird seizes his chance by seizing the snake. Grabbing behind the head prevents the rattler unleashing its deadly venom. Known to the locals as the snake bird, the roadrunner's assault doesn't just kill. Crushing bones makes the water-filled snake easier to swallow, venom gland and all. All over the world, species clash in nature's savage battle of survival. On the rolling savanna, the heights of the Andes, and the rivers of Australia, all are locked in deadly conflict. Animals fight tooth and claw to win food, territory, and rights to the bloodline. From the jungles of Africa to the Canadian outback, there are no rules. This is Animal Fight Night. Some animals don't share their space. They avoid a mutually assured destruction. In the seas off northern Australia, one such predator prowls. It's not a great white shark or a killer whale. It's the largest reptile on the planet. Covered in tough scales, the armor-suited saltwater crocodile fears nothing. The hyper-carnivorous killer has the strongest bite in the animal kingdom. Escaping from the clutches of his 3-inch teeth would be the equivalent of bench pressing a pickup truck. He's the most aggressive of all the crocodiles. In the ocean, keeping to himself is easier. Specialized salt glands in the tongue excrete excess salt without dehydrating the croc, so he can spend weeks in the open reaches. But when he comes inshore to breed, competition brings out his killer instincts. On Australia's East Alligator River, one huge croc guards his favorite spot, like an armored knight at his castle gates. It's the perfect perch for attracting a female's roving eye. A cruising croc thinks he's king of the castle and wants the plot for himself, which means getting medieval on the occupier. The king goes low, but the resident knight goes high. Lifting his head means gravity gives his downward strike more force. Matching bites apply intense pressure around the neck. Rows of raised scales cover the length of the king's back. They're his heavy armor. Inside, plates of hard bone, called osteoderms, help prevent penetration, even from the most powerful bite in nature. But saltwater crocs have no bony reinforcements on the underside of their neck and limbs. And protruding legs are an easy target for a well-placed bite. The king snaps. He's locked in stalemate. The knight changes tactics and takes the battle below water. A sudden jerk threatens amputation. It's too much for the king croc, and he flees. Seen off by the knight of the East Alligator River. Not all animals seek solitude. Some prefer to team up and create an army. But when two tribes go to war, keeping together can be the key to survival. Despite their slender frame, African wild dogs are some of the deadliest predators on the continent. In packs of up to 40 strong, they target prey twice their size and kill 4 out of 5. They run down their victims and eat them alive. But get separated from the pack, and you risk being left behind. Fights between related packs are rare. But if strangers arrive and threaten the local food supply, it can spark a turf war. These intruders know they're in hostile territory. A 3-dog vanguard keeps tight formation. One breaks ranks and heads straight into an ambush. The home pack charges in at up to 44 miles per hour. The tactic? Scatter the intruders, then pick them off one by one. An isolated intruder makes a break for it. But runs into an unexpected water hazard. Five sets of jaws pin him down like prey. 3 dogs target the head. Pound for pound, an African wild dog's bite is stronger than any other canine on the plains. But even upside down, he can snap back until a local disarms him with a lunge to the neck. well-developed temporalis and masseter muscles apply nearly twice the pressure of a human bite. The move prevents the straggler bending his neck to deliver a bite. 42 teeth wrap around his throat. 1-inch canines threaten his jugular. The dog is in the grip of death. But the hound on head duty loses focus and lets go. The intruder's jaws are back in play. But once again, the terrain slows him down, and the mob moves in for the kill. With the intruder dealt with, the pack seeks other targets. This dog has had his day, and the local scavengers won't have long to wait. Being the biggest puts you at the top, but staying at the top can be your undoing. It's high summer in Yellowstone. Breeding season for America's largest land animal, the bison. This standout hunk of beef is a bull in his prime. Right now, his testosterone levels are doubling. The sex hormone is a natural steroid that keeps him sexually charged and at peak performance. A power-packed 1-ton titan. It takes a beast of a heart to keep Beefy pumped up. The average bison heart is nearly 8 times the size of an adult human's and can move an incredible amount of blood around the body. And it's not just any blood. The bison's testicles are in overdrive, creating huge quantities of testosterone, which increases muscle mass and aggression. When he fights, the release of adrenaline from the adrenal gland sends more oxygen to those pumped-up muscles. And it's this hormone cocktail that gives the bison the boost he needs to fight off his rivals. It makes him the ultimate fight night heavyweight contender. The females are ready to mate. And Beefy wants the ladies to himself. But a gathering of rival suitors presents a clear and present danger. His growl is a warning. All through the season, big-hearted Beefy takes down his love rivals. Each victory prolongs his time at the top, but the physical cost is brutal. After weeks of heart-pounding action, one last love rival is defiantly seductive. It's a red rag to the angry bull. A male bison will stop at nothing to maintain its dominant position. A downhill charge makes the most of his weight advantage. His massive 75-pound head smashes into his opponent like being hit by a family car. The love rival braces and pushes back. Brute force won't cut it. Beefy brings out the heavy artillery. The horns. Beefy uppercuts. It rips through fur, but not flesh. head-to-head, they're evenly matched. So Beefy needs a new tactic. A broadside lifts the Lothario off his feet and out of contention. But a season's victories catch up with him. Battered and bruised, he'll be no match for the next contender, and he retires from the fight game. Even so, he has ensured his legacy. His work is done. Hunger is a powerful drive, but it can lead to a predator taking on prey out of its league. This is wolf country. But the wooded shoreline of Canada's Lake Achigan is also home to a North American giant, the moose. Armed with broad 40-pound antlers, a bull moose is a hard target, even for a wolf pack. But a smaller moose cow could be a very tasty dish. A pack works together on large prey, tearing at flesh on the rear and flanks. The result, worn out, wounded wolf chow. A moose cow feeds in the lake to build up reserves for winter. Moose are the only member of the deer family that regularly feed on aquatic vegetation. They can even dive, remaining submerged for over a minute. A few yards offshore, the lake also offers safety from any passing pack. Her massive 6-inch hooves make excellent paddles. She can swim at 6 miles per hour. At around 6 times the weight and almost 3 times the height of a wolf, she doesn't fear a solo attack. A lone hunter disagrees. This solo wolf has left his birth pack to find a partner and start his own bloodline. He's not the type to look a gift moose in the mouth. But this maverick moose is as cool as ice. She stands her ground to protect her rear and flanks, then attacks with huge pointed hooves. A clean shot could kill. But she overshoots. The wily wolf cuts inside. A snap to the sinews makes her spin and leaves her body open. His teeth sink into the triceps at the top of the forelimb. The muscle is vital for walking and swimming. A severe wound would make her lame, unable to escape. Backward-pointing canines lock in place, bringing 410 pounds per square inch of jaw pressure into play, tearing through the muscle. Her attacker hangs on. And shears through the tough muscle. But the maverick has a trick up her sleeve. She finds deeper water and sinks to her knees to submerge her opponent. If the wolf gets trapped beneath her, he'll drown. She's There's a moose on the loose once again. This ambitious go-getter was ultimately out of his depth. You become the head honcho for a reason. Finding out why can be deadly. Some animals command respect. This adult male tiger is in his prime, and he knows it. His stats say it all. His bite generates up to 520 pounds of pressure. He's armed with long, razor-sharp, retractable claws. And a swipe so powerful, it can smash a skull. He'll defend his territory against all intruders. And this one is believed to have killed other males that he's discovered on his turf. 550 pounds of claw and muscle. But every generation brings a kid with attitude. The youngster makes himself at home on the big guy's turf. When he hears the dominant male, it's too late to run. Local rangers suspect that this 200-pound heavier male killed 2 of the younger tiger's siblings. Now, he faces the same fate. Tigers are solitary creatures. Finding another male on their territory will not be tolerated. With no chance of escape, there's only one option left for the smaller tiger. Total capitulation. The larger cat circles to intimidate and assert dominance. The crouching posture is submissive. For the dominant male, it's not enough. The younger male tries to push off the angry killer. Big mistake. On his back, the odds are stacked against him. The big guy brings his key weapon into play. His deadly 520-pound bite. Outgunned and out of position, there's no chance of escape. In any fight between 2 killing machines, there's a risk of a costly injury, even in victory. And you don't stay at the top by taking dangerous risks. He's demonstrated his dominance and neutralized the young male. For now. Among male zebra, the right to breed has to be won. Adolescent males fight among themselves to establish status, unaware they're being watched by a seasoned pro. On the African plain, a new generation of zebra emerges. They can normally walk 15 minutes after birth, run within an hour. And they need to, as the savanna is filled with dangers. By the age of 4, the feisty male survivors face a new challenge: breeding. But first, they need to prove themselves among their peers. They battle other bachelors for the right to challenge a stallion for his harem. They don't have horns or claws or a battering ram head, But 4 years of running from predators has given them hind legs so powerful, their kick can kill. During the breeding season, the grasslands become a battleground for would-be champions. Bites and gouges are standard. Anything goes. Even below the belt is up for grabs. A hard bite to the lower leg tendons could cripple. This challenger specializes in hair pulling. A mouthful of mane sees off his competitor. In fight after fight, would-be contenders leave it all on the plain. But when a dominant stallion decides on a preemptive strike, it suddenly gets a lot more dangerous. He has a harem to protect and wants to assert his dominance over any would-be challenger. And with everything to lose, he won't hold back. He goes airborne to coil and fire. With twice the impact of a heavyweight boxer's punch, it stuns his opponent into defeat. He follows up with a final sneak attack to see off the young bachelor. Point proven, he'll return to his harem, safe in the knowledge that he's still the top stallion. The easier a kill, the less energy predators need to waste. But get the strike wrong, and wasting energy will be the least of their worries. It's a hard life being a warthog. To survive, they need to grow up fast. An abandoned burrow gives this mother a refuge for her young family. Piglets start out defenseless. But as they grow, their tusks develop, making them a much harder meal ticket. These tuskers can turn on predators and charge at 34 miles per hour. Warthogs aren't worried about not being beautiful. Their problem is they're delicious. Leopards find them lip-smacking. These big cats are skilled ambush predators. They kill with a bite to the neck. But in challenging conditions, their kill rate can be as little as 1 in 20. They'll often target small game, or even scavenge. Anything to survive. This hungry young male needs to eat every 3 days. A baby hog would be ideal. He sees their burrow, adopts pounce position, and waits. When the dust settles, it's not a defenseless piglet. It's an older, angrier, and heavily armed tusker. She could kill this cat. The confused big cat fluffs the kill shot. The young hog was in his reach. But at the last second, an older hog dashes out from behind and blocks the path of the hunter. Instead of a piglet, his teeth find a determined tusker. He's bitten on more than he can chew. His 1.3-inch canines can't contain her. He clamps down with his paw. But this hog won't go quietly. The porky powder keg hauls her attacker in a bid for freedom. The leopard counters with a head throw. But it brings her tusks into play. A gash to the throat could kill. He needs to get this hog on her back. He gambles. Shifts his jaw hold. And piggybacks his prey. He's now open to an upward tusk thrust, but he uses his 100-pound body weight to flip her over, belly up. It's the killer move. The leopard hoped for an easy meal, but ended up with the fight of his life. Even predators need to watch their backs, because catching and keeping are two different things. 130 feet above the water, an osprey scans for prey. He spots movement. He hits the water at 44 miles an hour. Armed with perfect feet for fishing, 2 digits facing forwards, 1 backwards, and 1 that can change orientation. His talons snap shut in 0.02 of a second, roughly 12 times faster than a human blink. An impressive catch, which hasn't gone unnoticed. A great black-backed gull, the largest of all gulls, watches from the shore. An opportunistic predator and scavenger. There's little it won't eat. Its main weapon is its curved bill, which it uses to stab, smash, and tear. And it's not above a little piracy. The gull lines up an interception course and attacks. At the last second, the bird of prey takes evasive action. The gull's persistency is more than a match for the osprey's maneuverability. And the gull knows it. Gulls are excellent fishers. And ruthless pirates. The osprey's faster than the gull, But weighed down by his fishy cargo, he can't escape. The pirate changes tactics. It goes high to dive bomb its target. The Osprey tires. The gull moves in for the kill. The bird of prey tries to shake him, but the pirate is ready for him and grabs his wing. Outgunned and exhausted, he drops his catch. And to the victor go the spoils. South America, the Andes. Vicuñas live at a high altitude, but when they fight, they sink to the lowest depths. This dominant male vicuña never lets his harem of females stray far. He has 3 jobs: keep his family safe, well fed, and father as many offspring as he can. But this is bandit country, full of rivals. This young upstart is ready to steal himself a family, but only if he can get past the current head of the family, who has a nasty trick up his sleeve. He strikes low and fast to cripple an opponent where it counts most, the family jewels, saving his clan and seeing off a rival. The frustrated bachelors hang out in large herds. They hone their combat skills, getting ready to challenge for a family. It's the vicuña equivalent of boot camp. Training is continuous and compulsory. These 2 males are evenly matched. They both weigh around 110 pounds. Their tactic of choice: headbutting and biting. Always looking for an opportunity to get at the soft underbelly or genitals. Suddenly, one of the vicuñas changes tactics and pile drives his opponent. It's a risky move that leaves him open. His opponent seizes the chance with a canine crunch. Back on the ground, he exposes his principal assets. Lose them, and no Lady Vicuña will give him a second look. He's lost, but he's learned, and can still be a contender. On the African savannah, titanic life and death dramas play out in plain view. But hidden in the continent's rainforests, the conflict takes a more sinister turn. There are 10,000 millipede species in the world, but the biggest of them all is the giant African millipede, who comes armed with a secret chemical weapon. He's the articulated juggernaut of the forest floor. He reaches up to 12 inches long. Upwards of 60 pairs of legs slip his slinky frame through the undergrowth to dine on rotting vegetation. He's flexible, but tough. calcified layers of chitin form a hard protective exoskeleton. It's the same chemical that creates lobster shells. Heavily segmented, he can curl tight to create a shield against attack. But he's also got a secret deterrent he can use in an emergency. Each segment of the millipede has hidden repugnatorial glands. When provoked, these secrete his own personal chemical weapon, a foul-smelling noxious liquid that can repel predators. This dark-shelled giant is mostly nocturnal. Foraging in daylight makes him easy to spot. And he's caught the compound eye of a hopeful assassin bug. He too is equipped for chemical warfare. Giant African millipedes are the largest of their kind. But for the assassin bug, size isn't the problem. It's the giant's armor. The millipede tries evasive maneuvers. His shiny shell helps him slip free, but the bug is relentless. He seems immune to the millipede's chemical defense and hunts for a weak spot on the millipede's underbelly. His curved clawed tarsus is sharp enough to grip onto the smooth, round surface, while a specially adapted proboscis searches for an entry point in the region of the millipede's legs. He then injects his own chemical weapons, paralyzing toxins and digestive enzymes that begin to dissolve the millipede's innards. The millipede curls tight. But it's too late. The process is irreversible. This millipede assassin bug lives up to his name and turns his adversary into one long liquid lunch. Males can fight tough, but when females go to war, the killer claws come out. Dinosaurs still walk among us, or at least cassowaries make it easy to believe. These flightless forest birds are the second heaviest and third largest on the planet. They sport a bony keratin-covered ridge, up to 7 inches high, called a casque, much like crested dinosaurs. Even their key weapon seems prehistoric. Each foot has a killer claw on the inner toe, which can grow over 4 inches. Like a dagger, an accurate strike can kill a human. We don't know who ruled the roost among the dinosaurs, but with cassowaries, it's the females. Females can be twice as large as the male and fiercely independent. It's the male who builds the nest, incubates the eggs, and raises the chicks, while the female finds other males for mating and dominating. This boneheaded bruiser keeps a beady eye out for rivals. If these angry birds cross paths, it's fireworks. In a park in northern Australia, a sassy cassowary emerges and mounts a charge. It's an epic fail. Compared to the forest floor, a smooth tarmac path is like ice beneath her clawed feet. Her rival sees her chance, but the incomer extends her dagger claw. and stabs at her opponent's breast. Two of the cassowary's toes have a keratin tip sitting at the top, but it's the third digit that is the key weapon. It has a unique killer claw made of bone that is sheathed completely in keratin, making it extremely strong. Incredibly sharp, a well-placed hit will penetrate the skin and dig deep into the flesh, potentially hitting vital organs. But even a miss can be deadly. The downward stabbing motion of the leg can rip huge gashes in any adversary. The home bird retreats. Another slash by the invader brings her down. But she stumbles at the last second before she can push home her advantage, giving the home bird the chance to flee. But if they meet again, she'll be a much more wary cassowary.